social media, back on social media, has made its rounds. And it lends itself from some good stuff. It lends itself from marketing, and we get to see fighters up close and personal, unlike that we saw before. We get into the mind of a fighter, and there's sometimes just a little too much, you know. Roly definitely uses social media. I've been critical of Roly. I think I've been so critical of Roly. Sometimes I got to be careful. Sometimes I get so critical if I see these guys, they might want to beat me up or something.
Rolly's a cool dude that I've run into more than a handful of times. He's a good kid.
Yeah, man, he seems like a good kid. He definitely has the persona. He definitely has the camera presence. We got to help him with his talking sometimes. But what's going on this Roly Haney trash talk? It was pretty, really, witty the way Roly did that.
Yeah. Oh, it was entertaining as hell, and that's why I wrote an article about it because it was just funny.
I saw the article. Yeah.
It's just funny. He put Haney's face on his Instagram stories. He put Haney's face like on Nicki Minaj video, and on like somebody else's video, and it was just some funny stuff. And then Haney isn't as witty, so he was just kind of going back to his last fight, Roly's last fight. So it was interesting. I don't know, when I talked to Roly and I was getting some quotes from him, he said that he started it. I don't know where it originated from. It could be some Vegas stuff. They both live in Vegas, so in Vegas things are like anything else. It's like a neighborhood. You got your beef, you got your bochinche, and it just ends up coming into what developed on social media. So that's a fight that may happen. It may very well happen. Now Roly is fighting on Showtime at the end of January. So that was announced yesterday.
Okay.
And so he's got a fight lined up. Now it's just on Haney to see what he's got going on. But I wouldn't be surprised if those two fight, down the road. I think it'd be an interesting fight. I think that Roly had a night off his last one. And I think stylistically it probably wasn't the best fight for him. But I think that he would get up for this one for sure.
Absolutely. I think what happens is, we gotta be careful. Not we, but I'm talking about what we also. Anybody that uses social media, you gotta be careful with how you use it and when you use it, especially fighters, because eventually you gotta put your money where your mouth is. Okay, and eventually you gotta step in that ring. And especially if it's somebody you called out, especially if it's if let's just say Roly and Haney does happen, and from the few fights that I've seen from Roly, he's a good fighter, but I don't know where I wouldn't rank him up there with the Haneys and the Lopez's and the Tank Davises of the world. I wouldn't rank him up there with that. So I think his fight game hasn't measured up to the likes of those guys we talked about. So I think he's resulting to hyping himself up. So I don't know how much of that is a inflated hype job, or does he really have the skills to back up what he's saying? What do you think?
Yeah, so Roly's best friends with Teofimo.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that is from that, right? And I think with Roly, he reminds me of Clubber Lang in Rocky 3, right? This guy hits hard. He hits like a Mack truck, but maybe he's not the most skilled guy, but he hits hard, and if he catches you, you're going to feel it. And so I think that, he is, still developing his boxing game. And I think that, in next year, how he's matched and how he looks when he's matched will determine how far in his development he is.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely some polishing that needs to happen with Roly. I don't disagree with you, the power aspect. I also think that based on what I saw his last fight, he can also take a decent punch. But when you start talking about, the difference between, even though they're friends, and although he may get a little bit of that between Teofimo and Roly, is that the difference between Teofimo and Roly it's obvious. We'd have to sit here and lay them all out. So, but nevertheless, he is in the fight game. He what he does better than what Crawford does is keep his name in people's mouth. So So he's definitely relevant. He's definitely out there. We'll see, what's to happen. And he falls under the Mayweather crew, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So Mayweather's not stupid. Mayweather's, if anything, is business savvy. He knows
Mhm.
how to get really the right fights and where to take that career path. So then, no matter what happens, you gotta put up a shut up once fight night happens.